NBC5 investigates in our series Feeling Safe, which takes a closer look into the growing weapons detection industry.
Over the past 2 nights, we've reported on how these weapons scanners have come under scrutiny. What our NBC5 investigative team uncovered raises questions about what return we're getting on our investment, or if we're simply spending money to feel safe. Here's investigative reporter Bennett Haberly.
The September murders of 4 passengers aboard a CTA Blue Line train marked another instance of gun violence in Chicago.
This was a very random, isolated incident.
It also renewed attention about what security exists on the Chicago Transit Authority. This past summer, the CTA signed a 1-year, $200,000 contract with the weapons detection company.
Reduces response time, ultimately saving lives.
ZeroEyes. The Labor Day weekend killings happened on a section of track in Forest Park, where ZeroEyes software wasn't installed. Beyond that, the CTA hasn't said much about the system or where it's placed. Would it have made a difference in your mind?
You know, I never like to say whether we would have made a difference or not. What we're ultimately doing is providing a situational awareness.
That's J.T. Watkins with ZeroEyes. He's the one who signed the contract with the CTA. 3 weeks after the shooting, we traveled to Orlando to interview him at the Global Security Exchange Conference, where he demonstrated how it works, how AI software is used to tap into 200 CTA cameras. But someone in one of your headquarters is clicking on the images.
Correct.
24 hours a day.
24/7. We have analysts that staff that based on peak times.
ZeroEyes AI.
Software is designed to identify guns. From there, his employees can monitor for any alerts.
Everything that we do has been built with the intent for accuracy being the #1 thing.
But there are limitations.
Certainly, we have to be able to see the gun, and that's just the way that the software works. If the gun is not in frame of the image, unfortunately, there's not much that we can do in that scenario.
This 2023 Department of Homeland Security report reviewed the software and found it easy to use and intuitive, and that it returns a clear image of the actor holding the gun. But the report also noted it cannot detect concealed weapons and has difficulty identifying guns of different colors. Navy Pier's been using ZeroEyes for 2 years. Court records show video cameras capture the movement of a suspect after a fatal shooting there earlier this month. While a spokeswoman told me they've been impressed by the system's identification abilities, she would not comment on what role, if any, it played in those fatal shootings. There is this huge growth on people spending money on tech and spending money towards security. And it comes with that questions about, are we getting our money's worth, right? And what is the efficacy? What do you tell potential clients when they ask those questions?
So I look at it like this. ZeroEyes is trying to solve the 1% problem that's going to have the greatest impact on your organization forever. You know, we look back to immediately when we think mass shootings, we think Columbine, Sandy Hook, those types of things. We're trying to prevent a problem that is, it's becoming larger in America.
He used the phrase, a layered approach to security. It's something we heard a lot at this conference. And more than one company mentioned this, the Department of Homeland Security's Safety Act certification.
What that requires is 5 federally funded research institutes to look up underneath the hood of the company, look at our business processes, make sure that our operations look right.
But a DHS spokeswoman told NBC5 Investigates we do not conduct our own testing, and that the certification is a liability protection from lawsuits if someone were to sue after an act of terror. Instead, DHS relies in part on data submitted by the companies. Conferences like this aren't new. What is changing, however, according to the people we talked to, is the number of players, the number of companies entering this space, offering what they allege to be solutions for incidents of violence. The takeaway from those here, detectors are not a cure-all, but a tool in a toolbox, a high-tech approach to security. Bennett Haberly, NBC5 Investigates.
Thank you, Bennett.